First and foremost, I'd like to thank Thunder for putting this video up on the Thunderstruck Gaming channel. It's awesome that a bigger YouTuber like him would give back to the community by allowing smaller channels to get airtime to show off their content to a new audience here on this community channel. Anyways, enough of the dick riding and on to the substance. The latest patch to Call of Duty Ghosts has been like Jay-Z and reintroduced a game from prior Call of Duties, Gun Game. Like the majority of the community, I had absolutely no desire to play Ghosts, but I suddenly felt like popping in disc to play this quote-unquote new game mode. Infinity Ward is no stranger to being like A-Rod and pumping outside substances into itself in order to keep relevant throughout the game's life cycle. We had Infected, All or Nothing, Drop Zone, Money in the Dank, and Face Off that was introduced into MW3 during its life cycle. While Gun Game is a good step, there is a game mode that people have been clamoring about since it was last introduced in World at War, which is what you're watching right now in the background. In case you missed out on War in Call of Duty 3 and World at War, here's how the game mode works. It's like Domination in that you have to capture flags, but there are several differences. There are 5 flags, or 3 in the case of small maps, of which there aren't any in Ghost, save for Strike Zone. Each team starts out with 2 flags, leaving 1 to be contested, which is the one in the middle. There's a shared flag capture timer, so if your team has capped the flag 3/4 of the way, then the enemies have to chip away at that particular time, then capture the rest of the flag on its own. Once a flag is captured, another flag gets contested. In the case that your team captures the middle flag, you move on to their team's first line of defense. Conversely, if it happens the other way around, your team falls back and the enemies try and capture your first line. The objective of the game is to capture all 5 flags. If neither team captures 5 flags in 10 minutes, there's a 5-minute final fight. And no, it's not you going against the other team in an SNES game. It's a fight to the death over the middle flag, with the team that was losing during regulation getting a respawn penalty. There's also a momentum rule in War, which gives your team faster flag capture time based on how many kills your team has. You can gain up to 3 times faster flag capping, but you lose all momentum when you lose a flag. If you've never played this game mode, it's the definitive PTFO or GTFO. Everyone is constantly running towards one area of the map in order to take control. Almost like Drop Zone, without the annoying shit scopers, bird feeders, and UPS pussy packages. If you're a fan of some of the game modes that aren't in Ghosts, like Headquarters, Hardpoint, or Sabotage, it plays similarly in that all of the players are constantly running to one area of the map where a bloodbath will occur. I made a proposal for bringing back War in Black Ops 2, but Vaughn ignored it just like every other commentator that didn't rub his bald head for good luck. Hashtag TDM125. Now I know since Infinity Ward will do a great amount of work in order to get something out there, broadcaster mode, infected classes, sorry about that, I'm just allergic to bullshit. I'll only choose War flag locations based on the objectives that are already in the game. These can be Domination flags, Search and Destroy or Search and Rescue bomb sites, Blitz portals, or Hunted ammo box locations. These are already special locations in the game, therefore less programming needs to be done. Another issue that's been raised is that streaks after World at War became too powerful for this game mode and could cause havoc. Well, since the streaks in Ghosts are about as useful as fallopian tubes on a lesbian, this isn't an issue anymore. The maps in other games are also not conducive to War since they were small. Another issue that isn't a problem with Ghosts. They're all as wide as a whale's vagina and more cluttered than an episode of Hoarders. I'm going to use the MLG callouts and I'll put up screenshots of the flag locations that I've selected. Since I'm not stupid enough to put money into a sinking franchise, I don't have the DLC, so I didn't do those maps. Also, there's different starting spawns depending upon the game mode, so for all maps, the Domination starting spawns is what we're going to do here. After the start of the match, the spawn system is fucked either way, so it really doesn't matter what spawn points we use. People spawn in each other's assholes like they had some bad Taco Bell. Let's get started here. The Federation is going to be in red, the white is going to be the first flag or the neutral flag, and the Ghosts are going to be in blue. On Chasm, the neutral flag is going to be Crouch, which is where the B bomb site is for Search and Rescue and Search and Destroy. The Bridge is going to be the Ghost first line of defense, which is where the Blitz portal is, and ADOM will be their last line of defense. On the other side for the Federation, the C Bus, which is actually where one of the Hunted ammo box locations is, will be the first line of defense, and CDOM will be their last line of defense. On Flooded, BDOM is going to be the neutral spot, with Power, which is a Blitz portal on the one side, Wavy, which is a Hunted location on the other side. Then for the last lines of defense, we have Greats, which is another Hunted spot, and CDOM. For free fall, the neutral spot is B-Dom, with the next lines of defense being squares, which is where the A-bomb site is, or A-narrow, which is where a hunted ammo box is. And then finally, the last lines will be C-Dom and A-Dom. For freight, the neutral flag is B-Dom. The next lines of defense are rolls and bottles, which is where the blitz portals are, and then of course rounding it out is going to be A-Dom and C-Dom. On Octane, it's going to be B-Dom, that's going to be the neutral flag. North of Pawn Shop and the Club Alley are going to be the first lines of defense. Those are both hunted ammo box locations, and of course C-Dom and A-Dom are going to be the final lines. For Overlord, we've got B-Dom as the neutral flag, then the first lines of defense are actually A-Dom and C-Dom, and then the last lines of defense are hunted ammo box locations, pipes, and the back of the garage. For Prison Break, we have Stumps as the neutral flag, which is a hunted ammo box spot. Then it's B-Dom on the one side and Construction, which is another hunted ammo box spot for the first lines of defense, and then the last lines of defense are going to be C-Dom and A-Dom. For Siege, the neutral flag is B-Dom, then is going to be North Kitchen and Train, both of which are hunted ammo box locations. Then for the last line of defense are going to be the Blitz portals, which are Rust and Mermaid. For Sovereign, it's pretty simple. We've got B-Dom in the middle there as the neutral flag, then the two Blitz portals as the first line of defense in 10 and Arms, and then the last line of defense is A-Dom and C-Dom. For Stonehaven, the middle area is going to be Arches, which is a hunted ammo box location. Then for the one side is C-Dom, for the other side is B-Dom, and then the last line of defenses are on the north side of the map. One is Tractor, which is a hunted ammo box location, and the other is at A-Dom. For Stormfront, the neutral flag is at B-Dom. The first lines of defense are Fountain, which is a hunted ammo box location, and Racks, which is a search and destroy bomb site. And then the last lines will be A-Dom and C-Dom respectively. Since Strike Zone is as small as your dick, I only picked the 3 flags for this particular map, and they're going to be B-Dom as the neutral flag, and then A-Dom and C-Dom as the last lines. On Tremor, we've got Square as the neutral flag, which is a hunted ammo box location. Then on the one side is going to be B-Dom, on the other side is going to be Waste, which is another ammo box location and hunted. Then the last lines of defense are A-Dom and C-Dom. For Warhawk, it's B-Dom as the neutral flag. The first line of defense is Garage, which is where one search and destroy bomb site is, and Trailer with the other search and destroy bomb site is. Then the last lines are C-Dom and A-Dom. And lastly is Whiteout here. B-Dom is the neutral flag. Then moving outward is Lake, which is the Blitz portal on the one side, and then Rocks, which is a hunted ammo box location on the other. And then the last lines of defense are C-Dom and A-Dom. Now I know you guys might be thinking with some of these screenshots, yo, there are much better locations to pick these flags. And I know, I did the best that I could with the locations that were already in the game. If I had to go back and reprogram special locations, believe me, some of these maps would have looked differently. And that's where I turn it over to you guys in the comments section. Which one of these maps would actually be awesome playing the War game mode? I know for me, I hate every single map in Call of Duty Ghosts that begins with an S other than Strike Zone, but I've got to admit, some of these look awesome for playing the War game type. What about you guys? Which maps would you like, and which maps also do you think have better flag locations? And just like the Bud Light commercial, I'm up for whatever, so leave your suggestions in the comments section. Actually, you know what? It's not up for whatever, it's fucking down for whatever. That's the goddamn phrase. Who the fuck wrote that commercial? I hope you guys enjoyed this proposal, and maybe if it gets enough legs, we might see it in an Infinity Ward game. Remember, Money in the Dank and All or Nothing were game modes that were made up by YouTube content creators that they actually put in the game. So tweet this to Activision and Infinity Ward if you want to see the War game mode back in Call of Duty Ghosts. I've been the Schwantz27, making like a fetus and heading out. Until next time.